Okay. Namaste, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, and very good evening from my side. Myself, Dr. 𝐁𝐞𝐿 Biswas, the CEO and the founder of DBHS International. And we have a very esteemed international influencer on health and safety qualifications and the other management system. I will talk about him, the chief guest and the special speaker for today. But before we dive in, I would like to say namaste to you all, assalamu alaikum, and a very greetings of the day. And yeah, we are about to end 2024. 2024 was filled with a lot of joy, happiness, and we are very overjoyed, aesthetic to see the participants, the attendees. So we are live now, sir, Mr. Maxwell. We have Mr. Hugh Maxwell. If you just can introduce about yourself, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Biswas. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Hugh Maxwell, Managing Director of Maxwell Safety Limited. I have over 35 years' experience internationally in risk safety and cultural change management, having worked all over the world, including India, Africa, Asia, as well as obviously Europe, Australia. Been involved in a number of different risk initiatives, culture change programs. Still very heavily involved in mentoring leadership and trying to help develop others become the best versions of themselves they can. I'm a fellow of IOSH, fellow ISM, fellow of the Institute of Leadership, and I'm recognised as being very experienced in the area of strategic risk management. My background was originally chemistry. I have a master's degree in 𝐁𝐞𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐫 and various other health and safety risk and coating qualifications. I'm also heavily involved in 𝐁𝐞𝐿. I'm an 𝐁𝐁 diploma, international diploma examiner. I'm actually the chair of the IRSM Fellowship Committee and an 𝐁𝐁 and IRSM ambassador. So that's really me in a nutshell. I've quite extensive experience to share with you guys and girls.
Exactly, sir. I'm shivering at the moment because I'm speaking with the person who's having a book of records. So today, yeah. So before we dive into the topic, become the best version of yourself. What we were doing, we were trying to enlighten people with the health and safety qualifications and the education that we are delivering to the people. But today I was thinking that why don't I just invite the one of the popular person here in occupational health and safety, Mr. Maxwell, and he's so gentle, humble, and calm. Just look at him. He's so great that he doesn't say that. Yes, he's doing. I asked him, sir, would you able to give a little bit time from your tight schedule? He said, DB, I'm there for. If I can help my people with some knowledge and wisdom of mine, I'll do that. So thank you so much, sir, for your kind gesture. Yeah, pleasure to me too, sir. So today we are diving into something deeply personal, yet it is universal. The journey towards becoming the best version of ourselves. So this is a quest, not defined by external achievements, but by finding inner peace, embracing the purpose, and staying true to ourselves. I would like to again introduce Mr. Maxwell because as he already has mentioned about his degrees, so he's a very well-known popular speaker, so you will thoroughly enjoy it. So please watch the live till the end. So we often hear stories about like triumph over adversity of different individuals who rose above challenges, failures, or societal expectations to carve a path of uniquely their own. So I'm greatly inspired by some of the great personal stories such as J.K. Rowling. Then we have also Oprah Winfrey, and one of the very favorite brand that I use, Mr. Steve Jobs. So I learned a lot from their stories, sir, to be very, very honest. Because J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter, and that's why the series is not popular, but it will be like ever ending. So the writer or the author of the Harry Potter, she is at her lowest point, proving growth isn't always linear or glamorous. So, and another part, we also got to know that Oprah Winfrey, she turned rejection into resilience, becoming a very global icon. And Steve Jobs defined norms to pursue a passion that revolutionized the tech industry. So through these stories and our discussion today, sir, I want us to on what shapes us, our choices, our failures, the opportunities that we embrace, and the lesson that we learn. So let's explore together that I am gonna ask a few questions that I've really noted down so that I can ask to Mr. Max and he can answer it. So let's start with something fundamental, sir. So sir, for you, what does it mean to be the best version of yourself?
Well, I think first and foremost, thank you for sharing the 3 examples you did. Those 3 people all started from very humble roots, as all of us do.
Sir.
My own background, my family were miners in Scotland. My father aspired to be an electrical engineer. Met my mother, I was born in Scotland. Never worked in the mining industry until last year in Africa, which was a great experience for me to apply and share my knowledge with some great people. So I think the important thing is recognizing that it doesn't matter where we start, how humble our beginning is, we have opportunity, we have choices. And it's how we actually take these things. Now, you asked the question about the concept of the best version of yourself. That's very much personal, and it can vary greatly from what a person's perception is of what they want to be and where they want to go. It goes beyond just external achievements, focusing instead on really, as you said earlier, a blend of inner fulfillment, authenticity, and alignment with your own personal experiences and values. So, in some respects, how you might define it, measure it, the best version of yourself is actually, first and foremost, are you living with a purpose? Are you clear on what drives you, and ensure that your daily actions contribute not just to your immediate, your short-term aims, but your longer-term vision or goal of yourself? And does that purpose stem from professional aspirations, personal growth, relationships, or contributing to others? I think it's so important to get work-life balance right, not just in terms of technical competencies, but in terms of aspirations. And then the second point, authenticity. You've got to embrace who you truly are without being overly influenced by the expectations of society. I'm sure we'll talk about this in more depth in a while. And really, it's about you being honest to yourself in terms of your interactions and decisions. And you mentioned about inner peace, but along with inner peace, there's resilience. And it enables you then to manage stress and whatever challenges you have in a calmed approach, seeing that there's a longer term goal. Some of these barriers that come in your way, they're hiccups. Some of these negative experiences are key learning opportunities in your life. So it's important that you find contentment within yourself, irrespective of any external circumstances or pressures. And it's important we align these with our values, so we're consistently making choices that not just reflect, but reinforce our ethics and our priorities. And then from this, we get the growth and contribution through continuous learning in the areas which motivate us, and improving ourselves, we can actually uplift others. And this balances our personal progress as well as our ongoing desire to make a positive impact in our own right, whether it's at work or at home or with the family. So, in terms of measuring it, I think self-reflection, it's important to regularly ask ourselves, am I proud of who I am today? Am I growing in the way I want to be the person I want to be? And this is where things like meditation or journaling on a daily basis, what did you do today that made you feel proud? What did you do today that made a difference for somebody else or for yourself? And really reinforcing this positive mental state going forward over time, building greater resilience, realising that you will have hiccups on the way, but the longer term goal should always be in sight. And align these efforts with your goals, evaluating whether daily actions are actually aligned with your long-term vision and purpose. And don't be scared to self-congratulate. I don't mean that so that your head's that big you can't get through the door. What I mean with that is break down your achievements. It's very similar to the TQM approach at Kaizen. There's not really one big eureka that will actually revolutionise things, but there's lots of tiny little incremental changes and lots of tiny incremental improvements you can make in yourself, your own performance, your behaviour, that you need to recognise and pat yourself on the back for, particularly if it aligns with your values and it actually reflects the effort you put into them. And this in itself could help enable you to have much stronger emotional well-being, so you can assess how well you're actually fulfilling and becoming more content and becoming more patient, because one of the, no disrespect, at 60 I'm 61 tomorrow. At 60 years old, the one key thing I've learned in later life is patience. But the current generation, they're really, I mean, I love them. They're dynamic, they're enthusiastic, they're giving me a fresh lease of life. Mentoring in partnerships with them allows me to understand their values, to understand their beliefs and their drivers. They want to be the MD tomorrow. Unfortunately, those opportunities are few and far between. But as long as we realise it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, but realise that we can achieve key milestones in our own personal development along the way, that's so key. But equally important is feedback from others and how we impact on others. Trusted friends in our social circle, our trust circle, family or mentors, ask them, seek honest input from them. And one of the big thing I've really learned over the years is the importance of strong relationships, quality, not quantity. So evaluate the depth, honesty and positivity in our relationships and learn from that so you can actually become the version of yourself you want to be, in as much as it reflects on the impact you have on others in the way you want it to be. And from the impact, you can reflect on whether you're leaving the world with some form of legacy, having made a positive impact on those around you. And again, it comes back to this celebrating small wins and making a positive difference to others, not just yourself when you can. So ultimately, the best version of yourself is a dynamic concept. Every day is a school day. We're ever evolving. The challenges, particularly nowadays, there's no such constant other than change. It's important that we embrace this and we seize this as an opportunity, not a threat. And the key is for us to stay intentional, reflective, and true to our inner compass.
Bravo. So,
sorry, my friend, I did mean to say, right, there's a lot of, I've got a lot of respect for you and the great message you're delivering here. So I am going to put some key learning notes together, a bit more structured, that we can share with the audience afterwards, if that's with your blessing.
100%. So this is what we are doing for everyone. This is not something that we have target those who are associated with our farm or company, they should join. This life is for every individual who are starving or striving,
Yes.
thriving for something, fostering for something, and aspiring for something. So respected professionals, not only related to health and safety, but any other department, if you are growing, if you are feeling that you have a lot of burdens and you have a headache, don't consider that as a headache, or else your health, as we always train to the people, health doesn't mean only the physical, but also it means you have to keep your mental, you have to keep your mental fit too. So when I was struggling, sir, to be very honest, we all do struggle. And if I wouldn't have struggled, then we were not like having this kind of chit chat, but we could have gone into some other level. But I'm so thankful to God. We both have struggled to come here where we are. Firstly, advance happy birthday to you, because tomorrow is your birthday, right?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And everyone, whoever is watching it, please wish an advance happy birthday to the Maxwell.
Thank you, guys.
Another thing I want to really uplift that the generation where I belong, this generation can do anything. The generation, the Gen Z, can do anything, whatever they can vision, that whatever they can think that it is their mission. So it is my also message and quite small information to you all, that we think that we have all the responsibilities on our shoulder, but also on the other hand, we forget that we are a creation of a creator, correct? So it means somebody has created us. Whatever we think that it is best for us, but whoever has created us, they or he or she or it, we do not know. They know more than what you know. So I just want to tell, not only to this generation, this thing needs to be adopted by every individual living being in the planet Earth, that you don't worry what will happen with you. You do not expect big, because it's quite like you do have a choice. You can choose to be having a lot of expectation, and you can have another choice that let's keep on doing it. Don't follow the expectation. Expectation will come, but don't get hurt yourself. Keep on doing. God will have more. Because I never have thought that I will have a live session with Mr. Maxwell. I used to just scroll the LinkedIn. I used to just think, oh wow, this profile is so great. Oh my God. And I never thought that I will be partnering with Mr. Maxwell today. So whatever we vision or whatever we manifest, we can turn into reality. As you can see me speaking with him. So my next question to you would be that we often see failure, as we're talking about failures, we often see failure as the opposite of success. But in reality, it is a stepping stone, because if I do not get the failure, how I can understand the test of success? Think about Oprah Winfrey. She got fired from her first job, but later she was building an empire by leaning into her authentic self. Failure teaches resilience, perspective, and the ability to adapt, as also I was talking about adaptation. In DBHS International, we always train first our employee, because our employee, whoever is working with this organization, they will represent the knowledge and they will talk to the candidates, and the candidates, those who are working at the workplace, they are accountable, not responsible. The health and safety professionals are accountable for the safety of the workplace, asset, and the nature. It means the environment. So we are having this much of accountability on our shoulder as an HSC training provider. We need to give that accurate knowledge as a trainer, as an assessor, as a marketing executive, anything. So what we do every day at DBHSC, I train my employee where I learn the information and I make them learn too, so that every information we share to the candidates, they should feel they are in the right hand. So we don't expect that tomorrow we can become and we can form Reliance or we can have Apple, but it is the creator who knows what is the best suit for us. So think about, can you recall a failure in your life that in hindsight was a turning point for you, a moment where you grew, you learned, or you found clarity about your path? Could you just give, you need to say lights on it, please?
Well, I think, sorry, yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, my friend, the first important point is failure is a powerful catalyst, both for growth and self-discovery. And it tends to play a crucial role if you want to become the best version of yourself, because it actually pushes you to get outside of that comfort zone. It forces you to reassess your approach and your strategy. And in many ways, it teaches you resilience, sometimes humility and adaptability. That's why failure is so important. And I mean, it gives you basically learning opportunities, helps you to build resilience. It clarifies your purpose and priorities going forward. And it can make you more creative, and it can actually shape your character. Now, from my perspective, turning point in my career, being young and being in management, I was eager to make success, eager to prove myself. And one of the weaknesses was actual micromanagement, expecting a team, particularly internationally, to work to my values, my team dynamics. Really, in some respects, I think suppressing their talent and their natural way to do things. It's important, first and foremost, that we never judge a person till we walked a mile in their shoes. And just because it's the right way to do it in the West, or it's the right way to do it in the UK, doesn't mean it's the wrong way if you're doing your project in India or China or Japan, where the thought process and the people dynamics are different. It's important we let those teams work together and develop and produce the results in their manner, not the way you do. So as I said, in my previous experience, I was probably micromanaging too much, overlooking the need for the team dynamics, and neglecting really seeking their input. So the project actually missed the deadline. We were in budget, but we didn't get as successful as possible. But we had very frank sessions sharing lessons learned, which initially was disappointment for myself and also the stakeholders. But what it did teach me was the importance of collaboration, the importance of emotional intelligence, trusting people, understanding the value in team members in their own rights, which in turn allows them to feel more ownership, improves their morale and productivity. And also the value of feedback, a little regular feedback rather than thinking that you have all the answers. No one of us is the true expert in everything. We have strengths in certain areas, weakness in others, and we don't always see our own weaknesses. If you followed Johari's window, that's a great example of where there be gaps that we don't see, others see, but we just carry on regardless. So this experience taught me that success isn't about individual effort, but it's about fostering and harmonising a collective vision and trusting others, building that trust, making it two-way. And that in itself was a big turning point for me in terms of my leadership style, making me realise that not just technical competence, but empathy and engagement, allowing people to do things their way, made things much more successful and effective. So, in summary, failure's not the end, it's the redirection. It allows you to turn growth opportunities into helping you develop towards a dynamic best version of yourself. Now, how you interpret and respond to these failures really depends on you and determines their long-term impact on your life. Are they going to be a game changer in a positive way, or are you going to see them as a negative? I would strongly encourage the first.
Great. Those who are attending this live session, I really request them keep commenting, because we also want to know your views, your insights, and if you do have something to ask, do comment it here. We will ask and seek permission from our chief guest to speak on it. So as we got to know a lot of things, sir, you said that failure is the redirection. Is that right? So that's gonna be great. I think we have a lot of motivation, a lot of inspirational speaker around, those who are working around the clock, and we can just Google it that I need motivation. There will be millions of video. My another question that I really faced, that I do have my point, and I really want to ask you.
Please.
Every second, and this is related to people like our people, health and safety. One candidate asked me, and he was pursuing his MBA, and he asked me that, sir, you do teach us that we have to motivate. You do teach us about the behavioral health and safety. We need to keep on motivate the workers, the managers, and everyone associated with the company, individuals from top to bottom, whoever is working. But still they do the same mistake again and again and again. So why do you think? Now, I did give an answer to them, but I really want to ask you, why do you think so? Because the question is, if you train someone same thing again and again and again, and the person, because this is what we get to know from the records of the accident history, from the absenteeism history, from the peer group influence also, that most of the people, they're attaining the training, they are holding the certificate, they have the certification also, still they are making the mistake again and again. Why is happening? This is a failure. So how they can redirect their failure to the opposite of failure, that is success?
Well, I think some of these failures could be situational. There could be lapses. There could be judgment errors. There could be certain biases. Not everybody learns in the same way. Different people learn at different rates, different environments. Yeah. And I think becoming the best version of yourself, it's not about punishing these people. Sometimes it's about sitting down with these people and talking to them as to why they made the mistake. What was the background in it? And sometimes what's influencing the people is, I said, a lack of understanding, a lack of confidence. It may be the mindset. It may be their values don't align with what you're doing. So in many respects, we should be looking to either coach or mentor them, get a deeper understanding of what the issues are. The actual mistake may be symptomatic of what the problem is, not the underlying, and the underlying cause may be something different. So again, we need to build this rapport, we need to build this psychological safety. So there's the fear of punishment, so they can speak up. And the more we can actually build this relationship and see this as a learning opportunity rather than a punishment opportunity, then I think we get this openness, develop this openness and a better understanding as to why the mistakes are being made, and then come up with some form of contingency plan to be able to address it, which basically shows the person that they are the most important asset in any business. The people are the most important asset. Their development, their safety, physical and mental welfare are so key. And the more we can build this and build this trust, then the more they can contribute, and the more they'll be confident to ask the questions that they may not feel safe asking. There's a thing called the bystander effect. I don't know if you're familiar with it. where nobody
Yeah.
likes to be the one that stands out. Somebody falls over in the street. Nobody wants to be that first one who makes that play, because they're taking responsibility. They'd much sooner walk by with everybody else. And similarly in safety, people don't like to put their head above the parapet and say, I'm the one who doesn't understand. Despite the fact there might be another 40, 50% of the people in the same boat. It's important we try and create this psychological safety, this openness where people can build that trust, have that respect, and realise that they're not going to be shot down or ridiculed if they don't come across saying, well, I don't really understand that, please explain a bit more.
Exactly. And I do believe that when people are meeting with the accidents, or when people are dying because of some failure which is not always predicted, me as a human being, I really feel bad, because I believe there can be issues with the system, there can be issues with the technology, but at least whatever we have in our power, whatever we teach everyone, whatever every author, respected author like you, whatever you write, I think those written notes are not full-fledgedly are going and adapted by the people who are reading, because to keep the workplace safe, we have a very small equation. It doesn't require much of the thing. Number first is the person who is assessing the risk inside the workplace, he should know how to assess. Number two, we are not supposed to do the manual handling, or we are not supposed to carry out the task by ourselves, but to supervise, monitor, and evaluate their performance. When we, as a health and safety professional, why we are discussing on this, because we are talking about becoming the best version of yourself. So you can become the best version of yourself in every of your personality, in every of your work, in every of your different relationship with the people, because you can't be the same with everyone, with every situation, with every people, with every company, and with every position of yours. You have to change yourself in sequential way. So I believe one thing in that is that you have to be better version of every different personality that you adapt and you have to act on. So when you are working as a health and safety professional, please make sure that you provide toolbox training to the people, correct? Now, what is the purpose of speaking such aloud and giving your best? You are not just reading the script, but you have to make sure people are listening to it, because a human who is a human Hugh plus man, it means a mind of God. This is the abbreviation of the human. So we, as we are human, we can understand this is incorrect, this is correct. So when we, as a health and safety professional, are providing our best, please make sure your speaker, your speech, your training is so effective, it will touch their heart, because our work doesn't entertain us to make a mistake. Our mistake can lead to fatality and different other severe consequences. So we are accountable for everything. So be the best when you are working inside your company. Be the best when you are working as a boss. Be your best version when you are talking with your friend, you're talking with your wife, you're talking with your relative. So you have to create such an ambience of yourself that you can be the best version of every demanded relationship that you are in. I think this is also will shed some light on it. So my next question is to you, sir. It's going to be very interesting. So how much do you think your inner traits, such as determination, resilience, talent, matter compared to the external support and guidance you receive? Can success come purely from within, or does it need to be nurtured by the world around us? What do you think, sir?
Well, I think it's a combination of both. I know it sounds a bit of an open question, but I think the journey to becoming the best version of yourself is clearly influenced both by your internal factors, determination, resilience, your talent, your ambitions, factors such as the support you get, the influences, the guidance, and in many ways the opportunities that come your way. I mean, I'm doing what I'm doing now. I don't think I ever sat down with a hard and fast plan years ago. And when things have taken different deviations, that's like open doors with new opportunities, which sometimes at first you thought were threats, But I think with these two elements interacting dynamically, and their relative importance varies person to person, and it's important that we recognise that internal factors such as determination and resilience, they give you the internal drive and perseverance to overcome the adversity. And people who have grown up in challenging circumstances often draw on this inner strength, and this is what drives them and carries them through, despite the fact they've got limited resources or limited opportunities at times. And this in some respects allows them to nurture their talent and self-awareness. They recognise their inner abilities. This helps them unlock their potential more when they need to. This self-motivation is critical for learning in particular, but also for adapting, being diverse and striving towards your goals. Now, in terms of mindset and values, it's important we develop this growth mindset with the ability to improve through effort, and it's also we have an inner clarity about the personal values we have. So really, it's important that we interact with others and align it with our deeper purpose. But externally, obviously, a big thing I'm keen on, the big thing I'm actually promoting is support and mentorship, because mentors themselves can give you that guidance and encouragement. They can actually identify other opportunities to you, and you can get access to their networks that accelerate your personal growth without making the mistakes they made. And in some respects, they give you support systems when you do have these challenges, so you don't have to overcome them alone. And as I said, it opens doors to more opportunities, greater resources, sometimes financial resources. And also, it gives you a more positive environment through which you can actually nurture, whether it's toxic or oppressive at times. It helps you strive through, because you expose you to diverse ideas and experiences as well. So I think the balance between internal and external is important. Internal without external, determination and resilience will only carry somebody so far, but without opportunities or guidance, your potential may still remain untapped or take longer to actually realise it. And then external without internal, support and opportunities do matter, but without that drive and that passion to get there, they can either be underutilised or squandered or never really fulfilled. So it's important we try and make the intersection, and the balance may vary time to time, but it's really important we see the need to leverage on both, drawing on the inner strength when you need to, but also drawing on the external opportunities when you need to. So for any young person who succeeded with mentoring, obviously the inner resilience was a driver for them to take the opportunity first, but having taken that opportunity on board, I think there's a lot more there's a lot more perspective for them to actually take advantage of, and the choices become greater as well in terms of what they can actually attack and what they can actually get involved in.
Excellent, sir. So if I also ask you this question, this will be a little bit outbox question, sir, that when we say the be the best version of yourself, so let's say we have to do something which we are not introduced. Let's say if I can't speak in front of thousands of people, and I feel very scared in having a public speaking, but still it's my job to speak in front of 1,000 people, though I can speak, but I feel fear. And in that moment, I really need to be the best version of ourselves so that I can speak in front of 1,000 people, and I can fight with the challenge of public speaking. In that case, what are the steps do you think? Because I believe that you did come across to different of your challenges, and you were overjoyed once you did it. So what did you do in that time? Like you didn't know what you need to do, but still you have to do, but you did it with more focus and passion. So how did you do it, sir?
Well, I think when these challenges come along, the important thing is planning, preparation, prioritization. Sell on the basis of the things that you're confident that you know. Yeah. Never be scared to say that you don't know, and you'll find out, particularly if you're talking in front of people. Nobody knows all the answers. Beforehand, with the right plan and preparation, you try and make sure you have the right base of knowledge to share with people. You have a message. Try and basically go through 3 steps. Tell people what you're going to tell them, then tell you what you've told them. From this, on that basis, if there are gaps in there, then it's easy to say, look, I'm sorry I don't know that, but I will come back to you. And once you understand the context of what they're asking, you can actually go away and reinforce your own personal knowledge with it. So it's really important that you recognise your limitations, you don't oversell, you don't overcommit to something you can't. And see it as a stepping stone. I think one of the big important things when you actually are out of your comfort zone is to use this community you have around you. Take back from them what went well, what went not so well. self-reflect, but also get the feedback of others you can trust, so you know what to attack and how to do it better next time.
Yes, that's really wonderful. We have Mr. Kiran here. He has mentioned that your message of inspiration deeply resonates with me. Thank you for both taking time to do this. Maxwell, mentors can aid as support. So you, being the mentor, how you are witnessing this talk show, sir? I think this is the very first time you're having interaction with me, and we are on public. So how are you enjoying with this, sir?
I love it. I love to be able to give back. I love to be able to feedback, and I like it. I mean, the big thing to me, I mean, this week alone, I've had a few people have just passed their international diplomas. Yeah. Obviously, I can't do the paper for them. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be ethical, because, and again, it would mean that they haven't learnt. But that doesn't mean people can't ask you questions, and you can't say, well, have you thought about this, considered this? And it's great when people come back to you and say, look, you've made a positive impact here. So, you know, mentoring and coaching can take different forms. It's always nice to see people being successful. And I think as an older statesman now, it's always nice to be able to give back. So it's very rewarding. Thank you.
Perfect. You are an inspirational leader. So whoever is watching this talk show, I really want to tell you that we all are, and we can be an inspirational leader for those to whom we serve, or for those who they serve to you. It means there are two types of leadership. We got to know positional leadership, as such as CEO, directors, managers. So whoever is your leader, just the our position of yours, he can or she is leader. But when it comes to you, if you're not a director, people think I'm not a leader, so why will I take stand and talk right? To the HSC professionals walking around the globe and around the clock, to every professionals out there, we all are an inspirational leader. You don't need to have the position now to consider yourself as a leader, because if one person or a unit is taking notes from you, direction from you, a task from you, then you are the leader for them. At least one human soul is listening to you, is depending on you. So always believe that when you feel that I am an inspirational leader, you are anyhow becoming the best version of yourself, because you know that at the end of the day, they are dependent on me. My action, my reaction, and my interaction with anyone will also cause some of the impact on me. So be the best version of yourself, also by considering yourself as an inspirational leader. If I am not wrong, sir. All right.
Very much so. That's right. People forget that leadership comes in different shapes and sizes. It doesn't actually mean that you have to have a title.
Yes.
And sometimes it's situational leadership as well. You may be in a situation, for example, working in the mines. You may have the guy who has all the qualifications, but you don't necessarily have the knowledge and the skills and the experience that the actual hands-on worker does, which is where you need them to take the lead themselves and accept the fact that their knowledge and their competencies suit the needs of the team at that time. So the best leaders are the ones that recognize that they don't know it all. They have a strong level of trust and belief in their people, and making their people become the best versions of themselves.
Perfect, sir. Now, the next question, but before I ask the next question to you, sir, I do believe that every human, they are not born with the profession that they are in, but with their passion. Let's say whoever, like when we were a child, we were not that introduced that we need to work on money, but it was just like we wanted to be with our passion till the end. So what was your passion, sir?
My passion, to be honest, when I was younger, I think your passion changes as you get older at different stages of life. Initially, when I left university, I'd studied chemistry. I enjoyed chemistry. Walking into industry, I realized that work as done compared with work as imagined was slightly different. The chemistry and the analytical side of things that I actually found a motivator at university weren't there in the workplace. It was more repetition work. So I wasn't necessarily using the analytical side of things I wanted to. But that changed. I changed focus. I changed roles. And I became much more people-centric in my role, which I didn't recognize at first. You take for granted you have a lot of human interaction at university. When you go into work, it's slightly different. So I actually went into a quality control production supervisory role, from which I was able to engage with people, from which I was able to apply some of these other skills, like the analytical, like the knowledge, like the chemical knowledge. So I think sometimes these things can change. And I think this is where it's good every every so often to sit and self-reflect. Are you achieving what you want to achieve? Are the challenges there that you need? If not, is it time for a plan B? Look to either an exit strategy or look to try and reshape what you're doing or where you're doing it.
Perfect. Do you have any motivation for our HSC officers or the supervisors, those who are working at the ground floor at the moment?
Well, I think the big inspiration to me is the fact, please recognize the difference you're making. I have 2 core values. Nobody comes to work to get hurt. And it's not safe for my children to do it, then why should somebody else's children do it? Because ultimately, we should all come home, should all go to work and come home to work physically and mentally safe as possible. So the important thing is recognize you are making a difference. Don't be scared to speak up. You may be the difference that basically stops somebody from being injured at work, which in turn not just impacts on them, it impacts on their children, their wives, their husbands, their families, their parents, their friends. Nothing worse than having to deal with workplace fatalities, because you don't realise it doesn't just impact on the business itself and the business peers, it impacts on people's lives. So realise you are making a positive contribution to the ongoing welfare, not just of the business, but of the people around you. And that should be a good enough driver for anybody to get up to each day and recognise that no 2 days are the same and the challenges we face are different, but we can all make a positive impact as safety leaders.
Exactly. So we need to stay alert from every task we do, right?
Very much so. And you see it as a learning opportunity as well. There may be things that you come up against that people, I mean, it may be alien to you, it may be outside of your comfort zone. Don't see it as a threat. See it as an opportunity to learn. React to it, research, share with your peers the best way to approach it. But make sure that you go back. And again, if people in the shop floor or people in a high risk work environment ask you questions you don't know the answers to, commit. Say, look, I don't know the answer, but I will find out. But make sure you go back to them. Build that trust. It's this rapport and this mutual respect that makes us so valuable as safety drivers.
Exactly. So what did we learn, and what are the takeaway notes? Is that if you think that you do not know and you don't have the answer for it, just simply say, I don't know, but I'll really get back to you within a short while. So if you are, it means the people who are asking you questions and you are not able to answer the question, it means they're helping you. This is where you lack. You just need to put 1 minute and just go through it, read, learn, and adapt, and then get back to him with the proper answer. Thank you, sir. And 2 minutes ago, I said, so we need to stay alert for every task we do. And I just told the full form of safety. Ladies and gentlemen, we are aware, SAFETY, stay alert for every task we do. That's what we work for. So the best version of yourself you can become when you are aware which step you need to be alert and which task you need to do. So thank you so much. This is going to be very exciting. So, sir, how do you distinguish between the society expects you to become this and that, and what your soul calls you to do? What should a person do in that case?
I've had a number of times across through my long career where good people have actually faced this as a dilemma. And navigating the tension between what society expects and their own personal desires can be very challenging, particularly in some cultures. I mean, look at Steve Jobs' journey. It's a striking one, where he prioritised his inner calling over external values. But it shows you that you can actually achieve success in different ways. So the first thing we need to do is really distinguish between what society expects and your actual soul's calling. Recognize the external pressures, and these often come along with phrases like you should or you must, or this is what people do. This day and age, particularly with the opportunities arriving through the use of AI, advanced technologies, and the way the working world is evolving, less of society expectational pressures are there, and people are becoming much more innovative, listening more to their inner voice, listening to the calling, things like your soul desires, which are often linked to things that motivate you, that excite you, that feel meaningful, that resonate with your values, the things that create curiosity, give you a sense of purpose. even whether or not they align with society norms. Societal norms are being reshaped as we speak now, whether it's in the area of diversity, inclusion. There's so much going on in the whole world now where it's reshaping itself. So we shouldn't feel burdened. Now, people might feel there's a dilemma, but sit down, do a SWOT. Remember, we're here once. We want to get as much out of our life as we can in terms of self-fulfillment and fulfillment for others, including our family and our immediate children and things and parents. So it's all important we actually say to ourselves, right, acknowledge this dilemma, understand this feeling of being torn, and making decisions and choices is natural. Most people actually to now have gone through life juggling their aspirations and the society influences. But this tension really is the first step to addressing it constructively. So we need to seek our self-awareness, define our values, identify our passions, consider our why. And if we can, let's dip our toe first. Let's start small experiments, testing the waters, how we can dedicate time to our passion, as well as fulfilling our long-term application, whether it's a hobby, a side project, or whatever. A good example of this, I worked with a tremendous safety professional many years ago in Pune, a gentleman by the name of 𝐁𝐞𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐫. I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning this. He was a great safety professional. He had a master's in safe and environment, and I wanted bigger and better things for him in the business. When I sat and did his appraisal with him, we built a lot of trust and respect, mutual respect and rapport. He turned around and said, "Hugh, you do realise safety is not my passion?" And I was quite shocked because he was good at it. I said, "I didn't know, Sharam." I said, "You tell me, what's your passion then?" Do you know what his passion was? Traditional Indian singing.
Oh, all right.
No, seriously, that was his passion. That was his driver. That was his motivator. So as a friend, also as a work colleague, I had a duty of care for him on both counts. And I said, well, what can I do to enable you to achieve your goals? So we planned an exit strategy for him where somebody else was developed to fill his shoes as such, whilst he looked for opportunities and gradually moved into it. And I believe he's doing very, very successful now. His wife, again, his circumstances are slightly different. His wife had a very good job, a very senior management job with banks. So he had some more flexibility than many males do. But I think it's so important. And he fulfilled his dream. Now, that's just one example. We should all try and fulfill our dream, start that experiment, communicate with your stakeholders, build a support system, and redefine what you see as being success for you. Move away from the external benchmarks, titles, income, society improvement. It's not necessarily the right way for everybody. The important ones to me, especially now, later in my career, happiness, growth, and purpose. And ask yourself, am I proud of who I am and what I'm becoming, regardless of the others' opinions? Now, sometimes it takes courage, right? And sometimes it needs a balance between the two. So it's important that we recognize that rejecting these societal norms or challenging them is down to the individual, so that you can create balance between these and your own personal fulfillment. And which of these you feel pulls you more, the external expectation or the internal passions, it's your decision to make. It's your life. And never been a better time where we can actually make these decisions.
Perfect. If I talk about my journey, my passion was different because I'm into dancing and singing since my age was 3.
Okay.
So I will not say I'm a professional dancer, but I had a lot of stage performance, more than 175. And recently, one of my song, it got really popular. In 3 days, I got 273K views. So, wow. Yeah, thank you so much for it. So I was a very professional dancer. I used to do classical music and classical dance because that's what my passion lies. But as I was saying, that's what was your passion, and now are you into that profession where you did dream for? But my father said one thing to me, that when to leverage your passion, to initiate your passion to the profession, you need certain amount of money and you need the financial support for it. If you want to be a dancer, you can't be a great dancer because you need to deposit money for the good auditions. At that time, if I go back 7 years back, my father said that, my son, we know that we are going through a very drastic situation now. Do not worry that you are losing your passion, because God has gifted you that magic. So build your profession in that much, you will have popularity, you will have money. Then you nurture your passion, you will be happy with your passion and profession. And trust me, sir, my passion was definitely not into any training, because I wanted to be an actor, a dancer. So I wanted to have a movie. But now, really, God has given me such a position. Instead of dancing and singing, I'm helping people and saving life. That's a holy thing. So God always has a purpose for everyone. And so we have one comment from Mr. Kiran. He said, Mr. Maxwell, as a safety security management executive, I interact with many security guards who are above low self-esteem, particularly due to their perception as to how society see them, as like they are labor security guards. In this regard, he wants to ask you what sort of motivational word encouragement you want to give to them to uplift their motivation.
My friend, can I share a story with you?
Please, sir.
Along
Please.
this point. Many years ago, I was working on 3 shifts, and I was actually doing some management training towards, it was postgraduate diploma in strategic management. And it was about leadership. And one of the questions that was asked was, who is the most important person? I do apologise, my wife's just coming through the door, so you may hear a border collie barking.
Yeah,
the question
no
asked
problem.
was, who is the most important person in a business? And I was there with some quite senior managers who, in hindsight, I felt they were arrogant, but they weren't arrogant, they were naive, looking at it in reality. And what happened was, they asked the question, who is the most important person in the business? So their response was, the chief executive, or the financial officer, somebody senior. And me being me, always being one to think outside the box, I said, the toilet cleaner. Everybody squaffed, everybody laughed, except the course tutor. Now, the message he was trying to make was the fact that we're all there, we all have a sense of purpose. And if we don't fulfill that sense of purpose, then the business doesn't achieve its overall goals. So the course tutor said to me, Hugh, could you elaborate on that and explain to me why you're saying the toilet cleaner? I said, well, okay, well, picture this scenario. I'm Richard Branson. I've got a multi-billion-dollar deal to do. I've just flown back from another part of the country. I've got an upset stomach, but I've got a really important meeting to sign against the pressure for billions of dollars. I go to the toilet cleaner's off sick, there's no toilet paper there. How much does the toilet cleaner's absence cost that business? And ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that nobody is more important than anybody else. Never judge a man or a woman until you've walked a mile in their shoes. Those people are there, not just looking after the safety and welfare of that site, they're protecting the safety and welfare of the workforce. If there's a fire, if there's a serious incident that occurs either out of hours or during working hours, they will be the first point of contact to the business. So please make them aware they are every bit, if not more so, important, particularly in terms of emergency arrangements, in terms of them doing their job. Yes, a lot of people might see them sitting at the gate doing nothing for 4 or 5 hours and a 14-hour shift. But that time they have to act or react. They are the people, they are the go-to people that the whole business depends upon.
Yes.
So please make them realise, make them feel worthy, make them feel their value. Even don't be scared to stop, pull them in, introduce them to the senior management, make people recognise and value their worth to the business. We're all here to do a job, and similar with the cleaners, make them feel special. If you come into work every day and your desk's dirty, you can't do your job right.
Yeah.
If you come into work every day, it's great. I mean, regularly I'll do things like in the past, when I was working in office, buy some chocolates, something simple, a simple little gesture just to say thank you. Just to show people that they're recognised. So important.
Yeah, perfect. And also I want to give one note to Mr. Kiran. Mr. Kiran is like what I feel, that a person can feel low esteem when the society is making him the low esteem guy. If we can encourage the people to give him that respect, not a single human being wants to be in a low esteem every time. Correct, sir? I don't
Dr.
want to.
DB, I agree. And I think times are changing. It will take time. And I've
Yes.
faced exactly the same issues with some of the loveliest people I've ever met. The
Yes.
miners in Africa. They
Yeah.
worked so hard. They worked, honestly, they'd walk 2 or 3 hours today each way to work, do a
Yeah.
12-hour rolling shift and work back. These people are the backbone of South African industry and society, because mining is very strong there. They don't always get the recognition and respect they deserve. So it's important that we change the way society perceives people
Yes.
and recognises we've all got value to pay, and we're all equally important in what we do to make society a better place.
Exactly. Now, if somebody asks me that how I can be a very, highly motivated, I can give him lecture, do this and that. But what about the society? So instead of telling a person or an individual, think this or that, he will automatically turn into a very high self-esteem guy when the society is praising him. When we are giving respect to everyone. That's why, sir, to be very honest, when I got to learn this, do we know the full form of sir? Servant I remain. That's the full form of sir. So the moment I got to know the full form, sir, starting from the toilet cleaner to the anyone, I always respect them as sir or madam. Because what I feel, if I just respect them with sir, they are not billionaire, but they will have a billion time heart. Oh my God, that gentleman had called me sir, even I am a cleaner. So I think it is us who has to change our mindset and
Yes.
start respecting, because health and safety professionals are some kind of a messenger of God for the workers, because they are not going to talk to the boss but to their safety officers.
Very much so. Yeah.
Exactly, sir. Their safety officers are everything for them. If they get some injuries, if they get some hurt, they will not go to the manager, but they will go to the safety officer. But I have seen a lot of safety professionals behave very bad, rude with the drivers, with the cleaners, with the laborers. They think they're in the supervision. But I was working, and it all came to my mind with an experience. When I was working as a defense diving trainer, then I saw the drivers and the helpers. They were literally badly spoken, and they were rudely behaved by the managers. I said, why? We are into health and safety. What is the meaning of your designation? HSC officer, where H for health for mental and physical fitness. What about you bullying or criticizing or insulting or shouting at him, making his mental and he's going for more depression? And how you are giving respect to your designation, if I am not wrong, sir. So our designation lies on what we help them mentally too. Thank you so much.
Very much so, my friend. And the most effective leaders nowadays are what we call servant leaders. Servant leadership. And as safety professionals are basically our stakeholders, our vertical, horizontal, every level of the business. We're no better than anybody else. We're there for them. We are actually that link that can make a difference between life and death ultimately.
Yes, sir. It's just YOLO. YOLO. You live life for once. The full form of it. So last question, sir, from my side. So if you could go back in time, what advice would you give your younger self?
Wow. If I tell you what, that's something I often reflect upon. And I think really reflecting on life lessons and sharing advice, not just with myself and self-reflecting, but with younger generations, a really powerful way to connect and to inspire growth, which is why part of the reason I do what I'm doing. So if I were to give myself as an 18-year-old advice, or anybody, and the first thing would be, really, embrace failure as a learning opportunity. Be stronger in how you handle challenges. Don't be scared about making mistakes, because they're steps for growth. And each setback is an opportunity for you to learn, for you to develop, for you to grow and build resilience. So always remember, you won't always get it right, but that's how you get better. Trust the process. And try and focus on what you can control. Life's always going to throw you curveballs, but stressing over uncontrollable things, wasting energy, rather than channeling that energy in a positive way into your actions, mindset, and attitude. So, one of the things I also think now, looking back, if I had a superpower that I wanted to build, it should be adaptability. and never be scared to ask for ask for help. Sorry. Strength's not all about doing it alone. It's seeking advice. It's learning on others, which in turn allows you to learn from others. And don't be scared to recognise that vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's a sign of courage. Remembering you don't have to have all the answers, but collaboration can take you further and allow you to shape them. That, to me, is a key point, but also building relationships. Again, back to this quality, not quantity. Communicating open and honestly. Being compassionate, including to yourself. Taking the time out when you need it. Grace will always take you further than judgment. But pursue your dreams. Don't let fear hold you back. Follow your curiosity. Be patient but persistent. I think they're key takeaways. So, as an 18-year-old self, really recognising that life is a mix of chaos and beauty. You'll make mistakes, lose people, and face heartbreak, but you'll also find a lot of love, joy, and purpose. So keep going, trust in yourself, and keep growing. They're key.
Perfect. So to everyone, see, if you are becoming 61 tomorrow, still as a human, you want to feel I'm still young, all the best, trust the process, I'm still young. So I just want to tell to everyone is that we are not controller of our life or of the lifespan. We think that we can do this. We think that we expect us to become this. We expect that person to do this. But it's very sad truth is that even we are not the controller of our breathing, our lifespan, and we expect things to do in our way. If you can remove this one, you become more best version of yourself. Because when we say the best version, it means you are free from risk. The likelihood of the combination of likelihood to become depressed and consequences like somebody does suicide, somebody harm themselves. So that's a consequence. So HSC is there in everything. So what do we understand by the definition of risk is a simple definition, a combination of likelihood and consequences. Now, if you are demotivated by yourself, you are increasing the likelihood that you will do something bad with yourself, and whatever the consequence of your deed will be very much severe. And this is the hazard. This has the potential to cause you harm. It's gonna not physical, but mental harm is still there. So please do the risk assessment of your own self to be the version of ourselves. So I think we had a lot of good talks. And please say hi to your puppy. What is his name?
His name's Max. He's a border collie. He's actually 5 years old, but he thinks he's 5 or 6. Chris, 6. I think he's just 6. Yeah, I lose track with my age, but he's still very boisterous, still very lively. Still thinks a puppy. So I will definitely thank you.
Thank you so much. So to entire viewers, this was not so like very formal, but yeah, we were doing some chit chat because a person who's having experience of more than 35 years, you are into this industry.
In fact, in reality, my first full-time job, I did have some work beforehand, but I took my first role on after university, the 12th of January 1987.
Salute from my side to you.
Yeah, so 38 years, 37 years. Yeah,
38 years you have been.
38 years nearly, yes.
So a person having 38 years of experience, he must have a vast and wide range of experience. So team, thank you so much for attending our talk show, and please follow Mr. Maxwell and me too sometime so that we can come more insights. And so we do get inspired when people are reacting on our post, reposting our post, and they comment on what you have done. I've recently seen that it's God bless both of us and everyone around us. And I think LinkedIn is a platform where people are helping each other every day without any expectation or intention. That's really great. And we found each other on LinkedIn. So Thank you so much, the entire LinkedIn team. Whenever I come to the talk show, I always say thanks to the LinkedIn team, because for them only we have got acquainted and we reunited. And yes, we are helping the people for redefining the excellence in the health, safety, and environment. So thank you so much from India, Gesture. Namaste from my side. And we will have more talk And if you have anything to say for the last message to the viewers, sir.
Just please, I hope some of this has been useful. As I said, I will share some structured notes through Dr. DB. I hope the recording, I believe one or two colleagues who are hoping to attend had problems joining, but if it's recorded, they'll watch it. If people want to get in touch with me, have any further questions afterwards, more than happy. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Go out there, be the best version of yourselves. Don't be scared to make mistakes. Realise we're all human, we have good days and bad days. But be the best version of yourselves that you want to be. The opportunities are there for us all, and you are the future. So it's so important you take it forward, learn from our mistakes, build on those. I've always said to my son, who moved into safety 3 years ago, he's doing very well with the company Safety Forward, Andy Maxwell. You'll find him on LinkedIn as well. I've always said to him, it's always well to work and walk in my footsteps, walk in the footsteps of your fathers, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your mothers. Walk in those footsteps, but make them bigger.
Perfect. And also remember, stay alert for every task you do, which says safety. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll come back.
Absolute pleasure. Keep safe and well, and wishing everybody a great Christmas holiday, New Year.
New Year. Thank you so much, sir. We'll meet
Cheers,
you
bye-bye.
again. Cheers. Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.